Welcome to the MMA Junkie Ranking Report for Wednesday, February the 10th. Ranking share, gorgeous George Garcia with me as always. And right now, we're basically taking a look back to UFC Fight Night 184. That's what we're really driving the changes. And George, it started out in the main event. Alexander Volkov might have been his best performance ever, man. He looked absolutely fantastic, taking out Alistair Overeem. Of course, he was right behind Alistair Overeem in the rankings, so we know he's going to rise at least one spot. Is there any additional rise for Alexander Volkov?
Yeah, very impressive for him to take out a former world K1 Max in the striking department. Max champion, I should have said. But yeah, John, he moves up past Overeem, who was just in front of him. And then I measured him up against Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Rozenstruik's got a little bit better of an overall record because of the win percentage, 11-1 overall, 8-1 in his last 36 months. Volkov only brings a 4-2 in his last 36 months. So not enough to get past Jairzinho. And I know many would say, well, wait a minute, he was more impressive in beating Overeem than Jairzinho was. Remember that big old comeback a few years ago. But, you know, there's a few other factors to take into consideration. I felt like he just needed a little bit more.
Yeah, it makes sense. Those two may be meeting each other in the very near future. We'll find out about that. Of course, then the co-main event was something spectacular, right? Corey Sandhagen with a knockout of the year candidate. He looks like he's an absolute monster, but he's in kind of an interesting spot, right? Because he came in at number 3. He's behind UFC champ Petr Yan, and of course behind number 1 contender Aljamain Sterling. So not a lot of room for him to move. Meanwhile, Frankie Edgar was right behind him at number 4. Devastating loss. How do you sort the whole thing out?
Yeah, you know, the rankings tell the story is what I often like to say. And so just like you said, 1 and 2, they're going to be dancing next month. And 2 has a win over 3. That's why you've seen Sandhagen paying Sterling a lot of respect and vice versa. We know he's next. But then what happened? He took out 4. Vicious KO. He just can't move up because of 1 and 2. And right behind him, what happens with 4? What happens with Frankie Edgar? He brings over equity from lightweight, from featherweight. And that win over Pedro Munoz was massive because it kind of solidifies him. Because if you look, Frankie's 1-1 as a bantamweight. The guys behind him, they're beasts. They're studs. Munoz has lost his last 2, one of them being Frankie Edgar. And then Cody Garbrandt has lost 3 of his past 4. And then even if you look at the number 7 guy, which is Marlon Moraes, he's lost 3 of 4 as well. So really, Frankie won't really fall because the others are kind of in that sort of a bind as well. They're working more off losses than they are off wins. So everybody just kind of stays put. But guess what? The rankings tell the story.
No question about it. We talk about Frankie. You're talking about a legendary body of work that he brings along with him. So hopefully he has a little bit better luck in his next outing. All right, then I have to bring up the lightweights. You know, you had the fight of the night there. Beneil Dariush picks up the win over Diego Ferreira. Fantastic fight. Everything we thought it would be. 2 of the most underappreciated guys, I think, in the lightweight division. They had great win streaks coming in. What do you do with these 2 guys?
I'm telling you, man, when Dariush won and he was saying what he was saying, like we shouldn't have fought each other, he was right. Those 2 fought once. They did need to fight again. That division has a lot of depth. I don't know what happened, but they fought. Dariush won. So what happens? Dariush was an honorable mention. I think he should jump up to number 15 where Carlos Diego Ferreira was. Ferreira drops down to to the honorable mentions. But why can't he get past number 14? That's the interesting question. Islam Makhachev. He hasn't fought as much, but he is 4-0 in the last 36 months, and he's 8-0 since he's been in the UFC, plus he's 18-1 overall. I mean, he's going to win every single tiebreaker unless you actually beat him or you beat guys ahead of him. So for now, Dariush makes a move up, but make no mistake, we all know that both Ferreira and Dariush should get better opposition going forward because they definitely have deserved it. Ferreira's working off a 6-1 run as well.
Yeah, man, I hope both those guys get big names out next time out. Even coming off the loss of Ferreira, man, I just feel like the whole body of work really deserves a big fight. And Beneil Dariush, he certainly deserves something way up there as well. Give a quick shout out for Alexander Pantoja as well. He had the win over Manel Kape. Pantoja moves up 1 spot now. He's at number 7 at 125 pounds. Kape not quite going to debut on the list just yet, but I think there is a real talent there. So we'll have to see what shakes out after a disappointing UFC debut. And that'll do it for this week. But coming up, we got a big one. UFC 258. There's a star-studded lineup. I think we're going to have a lot of moves next week's ranking. And we'll talk about, of course, on the ranking.